Jason. Welcome back to another podcast.
Thanks, Chris. Good to see you today.
Yeah, leading is serving, and we're celebrating a very special milestone today.
Happy anniversary, my friend.
Happy anniversary to you too. This is a big day for me. I don't know if you see it as the same, but I mean, I'm amazed that we have gotten through a year of this. Like, this went from an idea to, hey, let's just give it a whirl, see what happens.
There you go.
You know, to a year later, we've done a lot of interviews and a lot of things in a year.
Yeah. Just to clarify, the anniversary is 1 year of leading a serving.
Correct.
Podcast.
Yes.
The official podcast.
Right. Like legit.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised you've stuck with me this long.
You know, I was thinking the reverse too. I was thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe Jason's put up with me.
Man,
but we've had, just so many great interviews over this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just so you guys know, this is going to be a little different podcast. We are taking this time to just review a little bit and chit chat between the two of us to try to catch you guys up on, some of the things. Let's revisit what's happened in the year. Mm-hmm. Let's revisit what potentially next year's going to look like, and maybe where we're going, and as well as, give you guys an opportunity to make sure that you send an email in or send now there's different forms of being able to submit some information.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's good to just kind of look back and then look forward and kind of just set expectations for year 2.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have accomplished what we set out to do.
I agree.
Initially, at least from a longevity type of standpoint, we were like, let's just get past pod fade. Right. Remember that?
I do remember that.
I think it's 7 or 8 episodes that most podcasts don't make it past that. This is episode 50, I think.
Yep.
So I think we have accomplished episode 51.
Yeah.
I think we have accomplished that goal.
And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the 52 weeks, which we've only actually missed 2
weeks. Yes.
2 weeks. So
the holiday caught us last year
off guard a little bit,
then
we had a snafu with I think a glitch somewhere.
Vacation and
yeah. So
but whatever.
But truly, we've dropped 50 podcasts in last year, which is just amazing.
Absolutely. And our goal along the way has just been that leading is serving.
Right.
That when we lead others, we're truly serving them, and we're fighting for the highest good of those people. And and so we've wanted to highlight some leadership tools around that, so that we are thinking of others first. So bring some resources toward that. Whether we got an event coming up here in November, the Peace Summit. And so we've got that's been our goal, and then also to highlight local leaders.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right. But that's been huge.
Yeah, and so all but I think 2 of our interviews have been in person over the last year, and we've interviewed a couple of people who are doing amazing things outside of our community that have had impact in our community. So we'll keep that up, but we're hitting businesses, we're hitting not-for-profits, right?
Right.
Catching a lot of owners and leaders and just really cool people.
Phenomenal
people. Cool stories, yeah.
Yeah, this year's been, and I got to say, that's been one of the huge things for me, is just being able to talk to these leaders and the impact that they're making in their world.
Yeah.
And that's what's been huge for me, and probably aligned with the, fighting for the highest good of others, is trying to bring those people in and, hey, look what they're doing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is an amazing opportunity.
I'm curious, what's been some of your favorite episodes? Some of your favorite interviews?
Right out of the gate, I know that we hired. Sorry, wrong form.
We really don't hire our
we
interviews.
Don't hire our interviews.
Or if you were on the show and you're like, I didn't get paid.
Wait a minute.
That's kind of the standard. Yeah.
We had some great people, starting in on the early podcast that we just were able to spend some great time with. And in the beginning, we were even still trying to just get in the groove.
Yeah.
Of doing what we were doing, and we've kind of started our own groove. And have done really well with it. And Jeremy Pell was an amazing conversation. But I go down the list from J.C. Wogman, Jerry Cox, Megan Von Dillingen. These are all excellent people that I know and I care about. And it's like, I look back at this list and I'm like, man, all these people that we've interviewed have just been, I know personally, on top of the fact that we did an interview with them. Mm-hmm. And so they're just dynamite people. And I'm just loving the fact that we were able to highlight them for a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned Jeremy Pell. He was episode 26. He was by far one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Chief at the fire station right over here near us in our neighborhoods, and works with the sheriff's department. What an amazing fellow who fights for the highest good of others, right?
Right.
Trail Kelly was on my top of my list.
He's top of my list too, yeah.
Principal over at Pleasant Grove. See, his episode was like number 34.
Mm-hmm. He is a changer, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, these are the ones that I throw out when somebody's like, "Yeah, I've never heard your story. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little more." These are some of the first ones that I go to that are just like these. You're Jerry Cox.
Yep.
Your father-in-law, right? I mean, that one was cool as well.
Yeah.
And not just because he was your family. But.
Right. Well, I mean, I did also enjoy, like, I'm looking back at the podcast, like there was one where we interviewed you, which, I enjoyed that too, because it was just great to take a moment and think about you and spend some time with you. And because oftentimes we get so involved with other people that we forget, chit chat about ourselves a little bit. And these are just great moments of clarity of these people that are just rocking it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are grateful to all
of
our interviews. Good grief. Y'all are wonderful. Y'all
Thank
are awesome.
you for taking your time out of your day. Because, we do drop one of these once a week.
Yeah.
But we oftentimes schedule out 2 a week just to try to make sure that we're trying to stay ahead of things. And if you've thought about starting a podcast, know this, like what I didn't know is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
I want to hit on that, but before we move too far.
Okay, sorry.
I heard a stat over the weekend that your capacity of relationships is about 100 people, introverted or extroverted. Okay. And you mentioned that everybody on the podcast to date has been just, friends of ours, people we know here in the community. So we're going to run out of people that we know
next year
before long. So be sure and recommend.
Right.
Let us know. You can go to leadingisserving.com. There's a form there that you can fill out. Throw a name in the comment field and send it to us. We'd love to get to know them and hire them. Good. You got me going on that too. Once we work through our friends, then we'll have to start hiring people.
Yeah. Hey, can we pay you to come talk to us?
That's right. But yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about a podcast, one of our past interviews reached out to me recently and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast in 2023. What do I need to know?" I was like, "Oh, buddy."
Well, and we talk about this labor of love because this is definitely one of those things like we love to do and we love to, And the crazy part is what I didn't realize when we first started this. Like, I knew we weren't going to get paid to do it, right? But what I didn't realize is all the personal growth that comes from these conversations,
absolutely,
with these key leaders that are going on in our community. And you know what? It's like, it's been great to get to. I mean, for some of them that I don't know as well, I've got to know better, which has been great. And the time commitment, the financial commitment, because there is a cost to this, and we have paid out of our pocket some money to try to take care of this.
And we've had some help along the way too, with
some different setups. So it's not. If you're thinking about starting it, don't. We're not trying to deter you, but know that it's not as simple as it seems.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and feel free to reach out to us. I've actually been thinking about this, that this is the third podcast that I've been a part of launching. We're the youngest of the three.
Okay.
There's a Salty Saints podcast that our friend Zach hosts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the 100+ episodes. He's been going over almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then Randy Spate he puts out 5 a week. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, his are short, like 5 to 7 minutes. So, that's a different story.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I could do that.
But he's been going for well over a year as well. And so, if anybody needs help, please reach out to us. We'd love to sit down and chat with you. And
and I mean, even if something's resonated with you and you want to just chat, reach out to us. Jason is very personable.
Yeah, but I mean, like you were saying, don't enter in. If you're thinking about this, don't enter into the process thinking, oh, you just hit record and walk away.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot more stress to it than
there
that.
Totally is. Especially when you're trying to hit a timeline, like having a episode ready. You invite somebody in, so there's a whole process of logistics right there.
Yeah.
And you scheduling, right? And then you get them to show up. And then they show up, and then you sit down for an hour and a half, maybe-ish, depending on how long a podcast is. And then you go back and you do the intro, you do the outro, and then you have to do the editing for the whole thing.
Right.
Like, it is a time consumption thing.
It is.
Like,
and just the stress.
And that's just one podcast.
Right.
And then you have to
do
have
that
it
every week.
Yeah, and you have to have it ready by the day that you pick. Right? Naturally, you pick a day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what that day is. There's always stress the day before.
Right.
To try to get it done.
I'm pretty sure over the last year there have been a couple of times that we finished the interview and I immediately started editing and had it out in a couple hours, like day of, and I'm pretty sure we've had an interview that was scheduled to be one of those, and then the day before
something came up,
and we're like, what do we do?
Well, and in the midst of COVID, right? Like we started
man.
this in the midst of COVID, so it's like people still got sick with
it was still a little
COVID,
antsy
where we
back then.
kind of had a couple people that got sick, and they were like, "Hey, I don't want to come get you sick."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Thank you."
Yeah. So for year 2, coming up, we've got some ideas, some things we're gonna kind of be changing and stuff. We got the new website, which is super sweet.
We're not changing anything major, just FYI.
Yeah. Just small tweaks.
Just small tweaks.
Making it better.
We're trying to make it better.
Gonna make it better. Yeah. So we got the new website, leadingisserving.com. On there, you can just put one word in the search field. So like we mentioned, Jerry Cox. All you have to put 3 letters, COX, and it will instantly find that episode and display it for you.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. So you can search all of the back history.
Yes. And even with our deep dives, we haven't touched on that either. It was like, we did do some deep dives where we were trying to touch on some different business ideas and business things that were going on with either me or somebody I knew, or just principles of things that we kind of popped up that we need to think about as business leaders.
Right. And I'm pretty sure it searches the show notes as well.
Okay.
So if there's if there's a theme that you're thinking of is like budgeting, that might not be in the show titles, but I think it searches the show notes as well. Looking for keywords
Even better.
like that. So that's cool. But we released some new artwork recently. No, nobody cares because it's a podcast, right? But we'd put in a basic logo, and now we got a little bit better, and
we upgraded.
definitely upgrading. Yeah.
Yep.
But we've got some small tweaks to the format that we're thinking about, just in terms of intros, outros, kind of how we, just taking it to the next level, I guess. Right. It's easier to contact us, through the website. You can. There's a contact page, like we said earlier. You can put your name and email and put a little note in there and send it to us, and it comes right to us. But there's also a really cool feature on there called voicemail. Have you ever heard of voicemail?
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Well, you don't. You still use voicemail?
When I remember to check it,
or when somebody doesn't answer, you hang up and send them a text.
Not.
Do you remember the time I sent you a voicemail?
Yeah.
And I did the dictation, the punctuation.
Yes, and you thought you were texting
Hi,
me?
Hi, Chris, comma. Thanks for taking
yes,
period, exclamation point.
I think I still have it.
Oh, my goodness, that was embarrassing.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But there is a little button on the website. I think it's in the lower right-hand corner. looks like a microphone. You hit that button. You can send us a voicemail. And so you can ask us a question. Just be like, hey, I love this episode. We would love to hear from you.
We would.
There's links on there to review. Guys, if y'all love this podcast, if this is building value into your daily week,
let us know.
Your weekly
day,
the days of your week. If you can make it through stuff like that and still like us,
right?
I mean, really, the best thing that you can do to help the podcast grow is to review it.
Yeah, let us know.
Put a review on Apple or Spotify, or rate it. I mean, I didn't know that on Spotify you can hit stars of how many stars you think the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
And so stuff like that matters in the whole ranking world, right? And so,
not that we're really worried about that, but we would love to be,
right.
We would like to know that I think it helps our reach is basically what it comes down to.
Sure.
So we want to be able to make sure that we're affecting as many people as we can possibly do so with this project.
Right. And one of the things you might be wondering about, it's something that we've been talking about this for, probably since before episode 1.
Right.
Of like, when do we put ads on and when do we make money? Right.
Right.
Well,
or at least cover our costs.
We're not we don't have a million million downloads a week.
No, we don't.
And I think you have to have a huge number of downloads to be really picked up by an advertising agency.
Correct.
But that's not our point either.
Right. That's not our goal.
We're like, I kind of enjoy podcasts because it is commercial free.
Right.
I like the ones that are commercial free.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why we pay the premium service at Netflix, right?
Right.
Or,
because you don't want to sit there and
right.
Like that whole model is so old. Like when we were kids watching TV.
Oh my goodness.
Like you'd have 15 minutes of show and 15 minutes of ads. That drove you nuts.
We stopped at a hotel recently on one of our trips, and we turned on a movie, and we're like, oh, we haven't seen this movie in forever. 5 minutes later, I was surfing the channels again because the commercials came on, and I was like, oh, wait, what were we watching? This is, I don't like this,
You're pretty bad. You really, you couldn't even sit through the commercial, huh?
No, it was like 20 minutes worth of commercials. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It was,
It at least felt like it, huh?
Oh, after you don't have commercials, you realize, oh my goodness, that's a lot of commercials.
Our goal is to keep the commercials off.
That's right. That's what we're trying to say.
Right. In a long roundabout way.
I mean, I've gotten pretty good of knowing that podcast has 2 commercials and each commercial is a minute long. And so if I hit the plus 15 seconds button 8 times, I'm done. We don't want that to be your experience with leading and serving.
Right.
And so what we're doing instead, is kind of similar to the contact us. Let us know, write a review. If you think, that this podcast is helping and bringing value and is a value add to our community, go on our website and there is a little place where you can donate.
Great.
And it's just kind of the idea of, if you like this, buy us a cup of coffee. $5 a month would make a huge difference in covering the costs of the podcast.
Correct.
Because there's hosting fees and editing fees and, websites and domains.
Several fees.
There's plenty of things. It's not incredibly expensive, but just a little bit of help along the way just lets us know that, you're behind us, you're with us.
Right. For sure.
You're on track with this. So,
but
no commercials.
No commercials.
Yeah.
Our goal is to stay away from the commercials.
I mean, we're still going to let you know about, special things going on and things like that. Oh, for
sure.
But there, that's not a...
Like this Peace Summit coming up, that's not really a commercial, but it's totally like a game changer.
Right. But I was listening to a podcast the other day that the commercial was on boxers. Oh. And I was like, shorts. Yeah. Not boxing men.
No.
Shorts. And I was like,
shorts on a podcast?
Boxer shorts. And I was like, I don't want to record those.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah, no thanks.
That's not what we're about. So we want to fight for your highest good, and we believe that doesn't include commercials. So ad supported. We are listener supported.
We are listener supported. That's our goal.
So let us know. We'd love to hear from you. But Kind of to wrap up this morning, Chris, what do you think has been one of the biggest things that you've learned over this past year?
That is a great question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that there's other people out there that are fighting for the highest good of others too.
You're stealing mine. Stop it.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And I think that, sometimes you deal with some of the problems in the world and trying to go down the road of what you think is the highest good of others and trying to raise leaders like we just got done talking to Jeremy Kubicek. And I got to say, his interview was just truly inspiring to me because he understands that God has intended for him to be the man who is trying to make those changes in this world. And if he didn't feel motivated and driven to do what he feels so deeply, it would, I think that it wouldn't have inspired me as much as it did. And so, when we're trying to feel inspired about trying to raise leaders and help leaders, and not that we're raising, I'm sure we are raising leaders at some level, but at the same time, just trying to help other leaders who are working for the highest good of other people around them. It's sometimes it kind of, and being a business owner. I don't know how many times I've talked to business owners and it feels like a lonely place at the top.
Yeah.
But then when you go and put them all together and then they all realize that they're kind of in similar positions, it's not so lonely.
Right.
And so it's like, hey, let's put these great people together. You know what I mean? So having the opportunity to talk to Jeremy Kubicek this week, or not this week, but in the previous podcast, and recognizing that we're not the only ones fighting for this, is just a great re-encouraging feeling that you know what? Yes, we're here for this place. We're here to help encourage our change in our little piece of the world. And not that we're, are we going to become global changers? I don't know.
Right.
And honestly, at this point, I really don't care. I don't mean that mean, but it just is what it is. Right now, I can't focus on that part. I have to focus on my little piece of the world and who the people I deal with day in, day out.
I agree with you. You're not alone, and the fact that you are influencing your circle of influence,
right?
Your little world.
That's who I have to focus on.
That's the responsibility. We all have dreams of grandeur, right?
Right,
and we want to
totally.
We want to change the world, right?
Right.
But change your world.
Right. Start there.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can do it any differently. I don't think you can really change the world until you've changed your little piece of the pie.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
So it's almost, as a young man, I wanted to make an impact for the greater good of people, But what I didn't realize is I had to start with my family.
Yeah.
And then I had to branch out from there and then go to my business. And then now we're on a position where we're trying to make change, putting this stuff on a podcast with the hopes that we can help empower more people that we haven't bumped into. We went to an open house the other day, and a gentleman walked up to me and said, "Oh, so you're the other one on the podcast?" And I was like, I show up. Yes. And I was like, Jason over there does all the work. I was like, but you know what? I just appreciated him walking up and saying hello and then telling us thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for you guys rock. And that,
right.
And I don't know him personally, but I'm ecstatic that I hope that we've affected change positively for him.
Yeah.
In his world.
Yeah.
Even if he's just listened to us once. And because that's where it's at for us.
Right. Right.
Or for me, and I don't want to speak for you, but us is
I agree.
Our goal.
I'm with you.
Where are you at with that?
I'm. That was my first thought as well. Is that sometimes you feel like you're the only one trying to move forward and serve others and love.
Right.
It feels lonely, but we're not. We're and it's easy to get caught up in our own little orbits and not see the other people who are right around us. And so this has definitely been eye-opening for me. I think my other big when in what I've learned. I mean, one, good grief, I've gained so much clarity over this last year of where I was a year ago to where we are today. I have a whole lot more clarity that are I mean, we're sitting here interviewing somebody, trying to think of, what's the next question going to be, right? Working down the list of, where we're headed, but yet I'm wrestling with my own revelations of,
right.
Oh, so when we get done, I got to go, this, that, okay.
That's
and
true.
then, and so, there's just so many impacting moments in the process over the last year, but, I think one of the unexpected learnings for me is that, I don't know how to put it, that success is totally within your grasp. And I'm like, we had people who were like, you've got to research and have a plan, and you got to have every duck in the pond in a row,
right,
before you ever think about launch day, right? And then we've had people who are like, I kind of started and I might have been illegal in the first few days,
right. Not sure what happened.
I'm still kind of checking on that 3 years in,
Right.
We had fly by the seat of your pants, and we had fully structured and
diligent people.
And yet everybody is leaning into success in their own way. Their battles are different along the way. They're, the struggles that they have in different spots are completely different because of how they approach the game. But if you have a compelling vision and people are willing to pay for it,
right,
and you enjoy it to some level, right, you're going to be okay. And people who are, they're not millionaires.
No.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Or, a lot of people who are pouring money back into the community, back into others, others who are, taking a loss on their own personal so that they can make sure their team is well paid. I mean, there's some, success is different for different people.
That is for sure.
And, what you set out to do, you can do it.
Right.
Either way. And so
I just want to give another small plug to the whole, I know that we say this every time, the whole idea is subscribe and comment and like and whatever.
Right.
I get tired of other podcasters saying that. But what I didn't realize, and I think this point kind of brings it up, it's oftentimes when you feel like you're out there and putting out content, is it really affecting change for people? Are we bringing something of value that you are, you say, hey, you know what? I do enjoy this. I do like this. I do like to listen to this podcast. That's the reason why we want you to respond, because we want to know that hit you and is quality and has got you in a safe spot that you want to. So, when we ask you to, hey, hit a review, put a review out there and let us know. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that kind of stuff because we know those are the kind of things that we're having those revelations. And especially when we're sitting here just talking with you and me, it's okay, is this just you and I just rambling back and forth? Or is this quality content? Because in you and I's world, it might be quality for us, but it might not be the same for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So thanks for listening, and definitely this is why we're asking for those kinds of things, because it does make a difference in our world to let us know that you appreciate or don't appreciate, either one's fine, that what we're putting out there. So
right on.
So like I said, like and subscribe.
That's right.
And let us know where you're at with things. And now with this new website, I can just leave a voicemail. I was like, I don't know how much easier it gets than that.
I know.
So,
I know. It's,
But thanks for listening to us for a year. We are looking forward to putting out new content for 2023. We're working on that hard and looking forward.
And if you are wondering where we need, if you're new to the podcast and you've missed some of these along the way, catch episode 49 with Jeremy Kubicek. That was off the chart.
Right.
Catch, like we mentioned, 26 with Jeremy Pell, and 34 with Trail Kelly, 17 with Jerry Cox. I mean, those are some of our absolute favorites along the way. Let us know what your favorites were.
Yeah, please do.
I mean,
yeah,
because this hits everybody completely different. There
It
might
totally
be one
does.
in there that you're like, holy cow, that was amazing.
there was
Please let us know.
very few of those people that were in the same business realm. Like,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much.
We've got doctors to auto mechanics to real estate
Nonprofit.
to nonprofits to banking and finance.
I know, that's what I was like. We're
Tennis
all
coach.
over the place.
Tennis
Like,
coaches.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was another great one.
Yeah. Kombucha brewers.
Yes, that one. Let's
Way to go, Sam.
Right, we miss you, Sam. So
Yeah, I mean, good grief. What a cool year.
Yeah.
Last question. Do you regret any of these podcasts, any of these episodes?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And I'm glad that we've taken this moment to reflect, because it is definitely a moment of recognizing, wow, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of different great people
Yeah.
that I'm very thankful that they were able to spend some time with us.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been a great year. I look forward to year 2.
Yes. So look forward to 2023.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Make sure, and don't forget that I'm super excited about it. Sorry, I keep bringing it up. Peace Index.
Oh, yeah. Or the Peace Summit.
I'm sorry, the Peace Summit.
Based on the book.
Based on the Peace
Index.
Peace
yeah.
Index book.
Yeah.
It is coming up. I'm
Yeah.
super pumped about
November
that.
17th. I think there's a link in the show notes for that.
Game changer. Just fair warning. Game changer. Make sure you attend. It's cheap. It's $10. Show up. Come on.
That's right. And a little bit extra if you want to get the book.
Yeah, but
But-
if you haven't already read it,
I mean,
I've already read it.
you told me you just finished it.
I did.
And 5 stars?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll probably need to reread it again.
Okay.
So-
Next week, and then the week after that.
Yeah.
And then
It's a good thing we're doing this a little early, because I can prep for it.
That's right. That's right. Chris will be giving a personal testimony of how the Peace Index has affected his life. No, you said you would.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
I can already say yes, for sure. I forgot about that.
You don't
Yeah.
have to give us the deep, dark details.
No, but I mean, it's already changed my life already. So yes.
Yeah, it has been. So, thank you for listening. We love you guys.
Yep. Thanks for
Shoot us a
listening.
message. We look forward to hearing from you.
Sounds great.